at me. I'm outside without a jacket on. Death to the snowman. Yeah. So, this is interesting. We just got this in, and I gotta tell you, I keep finding this guitar all over the store. People come in, they play it, and they hide it. So this has been hanging in the bass room, it's been in the closet, somebody hid it behind the counter. It's like, where did the 1970 D-35 go? Hear that? People pay all kinds of money to get VTS or baked woods, where they actually age the wood to sound like an old guitar. People will pay 8-9 grand for a guitar that's been baked to sound like an old guitar. What you still don't get is old wood. Nowadays, the wood is greener, it's aged faster, the wood is a different type of tree. Back in the old days, this type of wood would be more select. This is a 1970. In 1968, Brazilian rosewood became an endangered tree, and it was put on a protected species list. We're looking to see if there's a bus coming, because if it does, it's going to get really loud, so forgive us. So, Brazilian rosewood is an endangered species. So in 1968, Martin said, no more Brazilian rosewood. But what they had was some Brazilian pieces that they had pieces that wouldn't fit a two-piece back, and they wanted to keep using them. So about 65, knowing this embargo on Brazilian rosewood was coming, they created the three-piece back to use up wood. And they created a D-35, which was just above the D-28, in that it had binding on the neck and a three-piece back. Otherwise, that is a D-28. But they learned that the three-piece back added bass. And you can hear it. The first time you strum it, it's hard to talk over, let alone la 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 la, sing over. So in '69, we would see guitars that had a Brazilian rosewood centerpiece and Indian rosewood sides. This guitar, when we got it, the people that owned it believed that this middle piece might be Brazilian. It's not. It looks a lot like it, but it's not. This is 1970 here, this guitar. This is the first year they had all Indian rosewood. So 68, Brazilian. 69, some Brazilian. 70, that's the last year, although occasionally we see some drifting guitars that have this middle piece. And again, they're trying to use up the expensive Brazilian rosewood they bought, so they had smaller pieces left over, right? So this is a beautiful 1970 D-35. You can see the yellowed binding here. You can see the wood grain. This is the type of Indian rosewood that just isn't available. I don't care how much you bake a green tree, you don't get this kind of Brazilian rosewood, and you don't get it for this kind of a price. This is a guitar that is just under $3,000. There's a few repairs on here. There's a crack. It's been fixed. Whoever fixed this crack years ago put a little lacquer on the top. Otherwise, the rest of the guitar is as it left the factory. These are original German-made Grovers. You know where they make them now. I don't need to tell you. They don't make them. They made them in Germany back then, and honestly, that's the best. When it came to making gears, the Germans had it down. This is a great guitar. Briefly, I know you gotta go. Wait one more second before the bus comes. We also just got this in, a 1964 J-50. Now 64, you still have a big neck. 64, you still have a Brazilian rosewood fingerboard. 64, you have real lacquer. This guitar has some finish checking. It's all fixed though. We put it through the shop. Nice mahogany guitar, which most Gibsons are mahogany. And this is a guitar that is about the same price as the other one. We'll call this one see, not quite the bass response of this, but a really distinct mid-range. actually sing over this guitar. I can talk over this guitar. It's got definition, it records really well. This is a classic Gibson. Both these guitars, 1970, 1964, are around $3,000. You wouldn't be able to get close to this on a new guitar, and these tend to go up in value.